You've been waiting for the raise that finally changes things. Maybe you already got it, and you know what happened. Within 12 months, you were right back to where you started. Different number on the paycheck, same feeling in your gut. That's not bad luck. That's not bad discipline. That's a mechanism. And once you see how it works, you can never unsee it. This video is for everyone who was never taught what a raise is actually for. Here's the uncomfortable truth about raises in America. They're not designed to build your wealth. They're designed to keep you working. Think about that for a second. The American compensation system gives you just enough to feel like progress is being made, just enough to reset your expectations, just enough to make leaving feel risky. Meanwhile, your spending expands to absorb every dollar of that new income. And 5 years later, you're making 20% more and saving the exact same percentage, which is close to nothing. Let's do the math most people never run. Say you earn $60,000 a year. You get a 3% raise. That's $1,800 more per year, $150 per month. Sounds meaningful, right? Now, here's what actually happens to that money. Your rent might go up a little. You qualify for a slightly better apartment. The car payment creeps up when you trade in for something newer. Subscriptions stack up without you noticing. Groceries cost more because you stop checking prices as carefully. Suddenly, that $150 per month is already spoken for, before you even made a decision about it. This is not a budgeting failure. This is a system doing exactly what it was designed to do. Here's what changes the equation. The people who actually build wealth treat their raise like it doesn't exist. When the raise arrives, they route it immediately into a Roth IRA, into an index fund, into an extra mortgage payment, before it ever touches their checking account. They never see it. Their lifestyle never knows it happened. And here's why that matters more than any budget spreadsheet. $150 a month invested at 7% average annual return over 30 years becomes $180,000. You didn't earn that. Time earned it. Your only job was not to spend the seed. There's a guy at an office in Ohio. Let's call him Frank. Frank has worked at the same company for 22 years. His salary has grown steadily, not dramatically, about 3 to 4% every year. His coworkers assumed Frank was just careful, maybe a little boring. His car was always practical. His lunch was always from home. What they didn't know is that Frank had a rule. Every single time he got a raise, he increased his 401k contribution by the same percentage. Not some of it, all of it. His take-home pay stayed almost exactly the same for 2 decades. And at 51, Frank retired. Not because his salary was extraordinary, because his system was airtight. His coworkers are still there, still waiting for the raise that finally changes things. Here's what Frank understood that most people never figure out. You don't get wealthy from income. You get wealthy from the gap between income and spending, multiplied by time. That's it. That's the entire formula. Income minus spending multiplied by time. The raise doesn't help unless you protect the gap it creates, and most people don't. Most people hand that gap back to the system before the month is over. So what should you do with your next raise? Route it before you see it. That's the entire move. Before the new amount hits your checking account, decide where it goes. A Roth IRA if you haven't maxed it, an S&P 500 index fund, even just a separate high-yield savings account you never look at. The goal is to make the raise invisible to your lifestyle. Because your lifestyle, if left to its own devices, will find a way to spend it. That's not weakness. That's how every human brain works. You're not fighting your character. You're setting up a system that wins automatically. And here's the shift that changes everything. Once that invested money starts growing, it becomes something different than your paycheck. Your paycheck requires your time, your calendar, your energy. Your invested gap requires none of those things. It grows while you sleep, while you're on vacation, while you're sitting in traffic on a Tuesday morning, wondering if this is all there is. That's the exit from the salary trap. Not a bigger salary, a protected gap, starting today. The next video in this series is going to show you exactly why your income level almost doesn't matter and what the number on your paycheck is actually doing to your psychology. If this is landing, subscribe. There's more coming this week.